Hey there, I'm Radical Dreamer, and this is a preview of The Outcast, Episode 8. The Outcast is a podcast done by myself and two other Japanese-speaking gamers living here, in Japan. In this edition, we cover Japanese-only games. One by one, we talk about each Japanese-only title we've ever played, if they were good or bad, and why they never left the Japanese borders. If you enjoy what you hear in this preview, please click the link in the information box below, or please go to theoutcastpodcast.blogspot.com. Anyway, enjoy!
Next on my list is actually one that, to my just utter amazement, I'm not the only white person ever to play this game, to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about Ore no Shikabane Koete Yuke, which can be translated as Walk Over My Dead Corpse. That's how it was translated to me originally by a Japanese guy. That was what his choice of words. So that's what I use, you know. It's certainly not the official title, and I'm sure Kyle has his own translation. That said, Walk Over My Dead Corpse is I guess what we would call today a soul-breeding game. Mm-hmm. It's a soul-breeding RPG where the plot is simple. Your mom and your dad go to fight this demon, and the demon kicks their asses and puts a curse on the family. And the curse is your family will only live, and it will live a full lifespan in 2 years. The trick is also, the secondary bonus to this little curse, is that you are not allowed to breed with other humans. So the course of the game is you basically going into dungeons, freeing gods and gaining like renown, and then breeding with, you know, another god before your character dies. And so what you end up doing is you can control 4 characters at once, turn-based battle, much like most early PS1 games. And you basically create a family, different family trees who are strong in different elements because of their breedings with different gods, and you know, embark on this journey to defeat this demon and end the curse on your family. I believe the record is 13 generations, which I find astounding. I think it took me 40 to 50 my first time. Wow. Generations to get it done. Right. But you can play, 6, 7 classes?
Yeah, it's something like that.
And it's set in
it's Heian Jidai.
Tokyo.
It's set on the Heian Jidai, which is an old school Tokyo.
Yeah, old school Kyoto, actually, I thought. And you actually are rebuilding it from the demon attack. I would recommend it. Except for the fact it is so unbelievably Japanese.
It's unimpenetrable. It really is one of those hardcore Japanese games.
There's no katakana. Everything's in kanji. Everything. Every weapon, every item, the battle system.
Like the setting name is just really super, old school classical Japanese.
This bar of entry is
like one of the highest games out there. Okay, it's got a really distinct box though,
and it is on PSN.
It's on PSN. If you want to try, you can get it for $6 on PSN. The Japanese version.
But yeah,
the box is just a little boy looking pissed off. It's an actual kid, a real human being kid, just looking pissed off at you.
Oh, most kids tend to do that.
But I mean, it's a fun game.
It's a beautiful game though. The art and just the kind of screwed up, I don't know, just the kind of the Japaneseness is really beautiful.
It's got this kind of watercolor-esque Japanese art style.
It has an art style you don't see. It contains visuals you don't really see in games. I can't really articulate it that well, but it just unique all around.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to jump in with what do I pick here? I'll start with something. Since you guys have done something that's very language intensive, I'm going to copy you. Sampa Guitar. Sampa Guitar was one of the Yarudora series, the drama, or what would you call them, the novel games? Mm-hmm. That was
visual novel?
Visual novel, that's the term I'm looking for. It was popular from around the PS1 era, I'd say, because
they were in Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah, but it became really popular for the PS1 because suddenly you could put some voice, some full motion video, some high quality screenshots, and there was, I want to say, to quote Kyle there, three big entries in the PS1 era in that series, and one was Sampa Guitar, and the art style was the most mature of the three. You had no moe-eyed, big-eyed girls in this. It was a really nice, kind of more realistically slanted art style, and you Oh, God, it's been so long since I played. I'm trying to remember. You basically save this girl, and you're protecting her, trying to find out who she is, and she ends up living with you. And the whole reason I played it, because I was in university, is that the main character is you, and as you're voiceless, but the girl is fully voiced, and she is fully voiced.
It's a visual novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's fully voiced by Megumi Hayashibara, aka Rei from Evangelion. And I imported it for that alone, because while I was learning Japanese at the time, and it is nothing, I mean, it's not all kanji, but it's definitely all in Japanese. And there are a lot of times where you have options that you have to pick from, but it's all Hayashibara all the time. And for me, that was awesome.
Just to provide a little context, visual novel is literally just like writing on the screen.
With a good quality graphic.
You know, and
there'll be like
thing.
graphics or like maybe sound effects or like music in the background, and you hit like the A button like you would turn a page in a book.
Yeah, you hit it, but it's like someone enters the room and you hear a door slam in the shade.
It's almost like old school radio dramas.
Yeah.
And like some of them border on being choose your own adventure, but most visual novels are not like that. You have choices. Your choices don't have any direct effect, but it may affect the ending. The story doesn't change as much as, like, a person likes you more or less, so that when the ending comes about, you'll end up with a different character or something like that.
True. It's since been ported to the PSP, so it's importable, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's very, very Japanese.
It's all language.
Heavy. But if you like Megumi Hayashibara, go for it.
But just talk a little more about visual novels. That's a genre that I think one or two titles have ever been released in America.
I'm surprised the one that Sega didn't get released, because it got full
428 or something like that.
Yeah,
428.
And that's been ported to the PS3 as well now. It's not just
and
on the
PSP,
Wii.
I think.
PSP got it too.
But I want the PS3.
It's a genre that is still around, even though we're on like HD consoles. There's still visual novels released all the time.
Over the PC and the cell phones.
If you wanted kind of an idea what they're like, if you can ever check out Lost Odyssey on 360, that has very large. I mean, that was obviously released in the West. That has huge visual novel chunks in it. I mean, it's totally peripheral. It's a total peripheral gameplay mechanic. You don't need to do it, but it's in there. I mean, they had the guy who translated those stories is a Harvard Japanese professor, so they're very well written. But like, I think that, and I want to say one of the Silent Hill games was released in America on Game Boy Advance. That was a visual novel.
No, oh.
But yeah, it's a genre that is a powerhouse in Japan.
Yeah.
But
have you played any?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I've played a couple too. I didn't even include any on this list because I was like, visual novels.